There's been a steep downturn in the already frosty ties between India and Canada, with New Delhi expelling 6 Canadian diplomats and recalling its envoys from Ottawa. Now, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has doubled down on his allegations that the government of India is behind the death of Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Nijjar. In a strongly worded statement, India dismissed the allegations as preposterous and claimed that the Justin Trudeau government is trying to cater to a local vote bank. The Ministry of External Affairs has gone on to highlight that Trudeau's cabinet has included individuals who have openly associated with an extremist and separatist agenda regarding India. It's no secret then that Canada has been a safe haven for Khalistani terrorists for a long time. We all remember the 1985 Kanishka bombings that claimed the lives of 329 people. But the nefarious Khalistani nexus has only proliferated on Canadian soil over the decades. Today, the Trudeau administration consciously provides a space to violent extremists and terrorists to harass, threaten and intimidate Indian diplomats and community leaders. This has resulted in India and Canada's diplomatic fallout reaching new lows. But what exactly is motivating Trudeau? Why is he so adamant on pinning the blame on India for the Nijjar death? Why is he doubling down on claims of Indian interference in Canada's domestic issues? We do know elections in Canada are on the anvil. Is it an attempt to galvanize his vote bank or an attempt to deflect attention from scrutiny into his collusion with China? Well, let's discuss that. Joining us live is Ambassador Pradeep Kapoor, former diplomat. Ambassador Pradeep Kapoor, what is motivating Justin Trudeau to act like this?
Sad state of affairs for Canada to act like this, and part of the reason is his internal political dynamics also and his sinking popularity. But that does not explain it all, in the sense that Canada used to be respected as a law-abiding country with a very high standard of living. The way it is plunging down a big black hole is very sad for the government and for the citizens of Canada, because in some ways, and I am not sure, the behavior is almost like a rogue country, like a rogue nation to support terrorists, and the Western media calls them activists, which is incorrect labeling, and not handing over those terrorists for trial to India, safeguarding the terrorists to, proudly proclaim that they bombed the plane Kanishka on its flight. So many things that they are doing, which is absolutely incorrect, and then also encouraging, British Columbia and Vancouver for the Chinese sort of takeover of that entire area with their police post and, being able to function very, very autonomously without being answerable to the Canadian authorities. So many things seem to be going wrong currently. And for Canada, it has to realize that one of its primary bulwarks for the future is India, in terms of the revenues that come to Canada from the students who go from India, in terms of India's, growing might globally as a driver of the global economy, in terms of its young demography, in terms of the contribution it is making to so many spheres of global polity. So from all those perspectives, now for India also, I guess, we have to see how to bring pressure to bear on Canada so that it sort of does not continue to deviate from normal, proper behavior of any democratic country in the world through its allies, the Five Eyes countries, for example, the Four Eyes. India has to engage in a very, very firm dialogue with them, that this sort of behavior, they have to also intervene and bring Canada back on track. Because currently, even the opposition leader has also been mouthing solidarity with Khalistanis on some occasions. So it's not that if the elections are held and Trudeau is thrown out of power, the other side will be sort of mending its ways. So it's a long-term haul with the diplomats being expelled from India, 6 diplomats, and 6 diplomats being recalled from Canada. That also has resulted in a lot of news all over the Western media. The Western media is portraying it as Canada taking the first step to expel the Indian diplomats, whereas the Indian news coming out is that India recalled the diplomats and expelled the Canadian diplomats. So it's a very serious downturn in relations, in the sense that when you have diplomats on the ground, there is dialogue, there's discussion. There are negotiations, there are, give and take, and you continue with the relations. But with the diplomats being recalled now, and for both the countries not to have a platform for engaging in a very intense manner at a crucial stage of the relations, it's going to impact our relations with that country for quite some time. Back to you.
Yes, but Ambassador Kapoor, domestic compulsions attempt to change the narrative away from his links with China, or simple Western hypocrisy which has been seen before and perhaps is being seen again, which is the most likely trigger for his actions?
Well, I guess the primary concern is a survival instinct, because he wants to, he has been seen to be, acting like a chameleon earlier also. On many occasions, he changes his stance. So domestic compulsions are very, very important. These are aggravated by the other factors. So hypocrisy, duplicity of the Western countries, the effort to create a narrative which is absolutely biased, the pressure by China, the pressure by the Khalistanis locally, the funding by the Khalistanis, the drug cartel. So there are too many forces at interplay. So for him to succumb to those forces and not see where the future of Canada lies, where the well-being of its citizens lie, is a very big failing on his part. Back to you.
Ambassador Pradeep Kapoor, thank you very much for joining us with your perspective on that big story. Let me go straight across now to Lord Rami Ranger, member of the House of Lords of the United Kingdom and also chairman of the British Sikh Association. Thank you very much, Lord Rami Ranger, for joining us today. What, according to you, is triggering these actions and statements by Justin Trudeau in Canada?
I think Justin Trudeau, for few votes, is damaging the race relation and social cohesion of his country. History has a habit of repeating itself. If you recall, Lebanon was a beautiful country considered to be the Paris of the Middle East. And then they imported the politics of Middle East into their country, and look at the state of Lebanon today. This is exactly what has happened. Canada is a beautiful country. It should not allow the politics of subcontinent to mar their own race relation and their own country. And people who engage in separatist movements are not high achievers. They have nothing to lose, and therefore encouraging that kind of people in your society, it will actually hinder the progress of your society. And the same people who could be working very hard for the success of Canada are now working to damage the relationship of Canada with the biggest and the largest democracy in the world, the economy which is now number 4 and growing so fast, 7 to 8%, exporting doctor, engineer, teacher, scientist, businessman, you name it. To have bad relationship with a country like India is, I think, it's a very bad move. And more importantly, the innocent people will suffer. Lots of Sikhs will suffer who are legitimately working hard and who are contributing a great deal to the economy of Canada and also have roots in their country, India. So therefore, I am very disappointed that for a popular, just for cheap popular votes, he has decided to take on the might of India, 1.4 billion people with nearly 40 million diaspora in nearly 100 countries. So it is a very immature move by a Canadian Prime Minister, and it will be very, India is not the same of 20 years ago where you could bully India. India is respected not only by America but also by Russia. India is in a unique position. So therefore, I'm very disappointed that what has happened, and I hope good sense prevail and they do not encourage images coming from Canada, anti-India, anti-Prime Minister Modi. Prime Minister Modi has done more for the Sikhs than any Sikhs I know. So therefore, it is very sad that instead of showing gratitude to the Prime Minister who has gone out of the way to promote the lives and teaching of Sikh gurus, and the so-called representative of Sikh community are actually showing no respect and gratitude, because the Lord, Prime Minister Modi opened Kartarpur corridor. He celebrated the birth of Guru Tegh Bahadur from Red Fort. From the order of his beheading was given, he has celebrated the 550th birth of Guru Nanak, not only just in India, but all over the world, and set up a lot of chairs in universities. And also he celebrated the birth of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. And most importantly, nobody had recognized the sacrifice of the Sahibzadas, Guru Gobind Singh's sons, who were martyred in order to while upholding their religion. So that is a great inspiration to young generation. And Prime Minister Modi ji, by declaring a Wheelbar Divas, will promote their legacy, not just in Punjab, not just in the Sikhs, but throughout the world. So therefore, Sikhs, I appeal to them that they have to look at a bigger picture. They have to follow the ideology of Sikh gurus and not self-proclaimed, self-appointed leaders who have selfish agenda, who have done no sacrifices for the community or India, but just to create their own place. They give inducement to people that they can get you a lot more benefit. They can do that. If the religious country had so much, they were panacea. Look at Pakistan and Bangladesh. Pakistan would have been paradise. So therefore, to use religion to devalue your fellow citizen is the lowest of the low. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji gave a religion which is based on interfaith teaching. If you remove the teaching of Hindus from the Guru Granth Sahib, there will be nothing left. So Guru were inspired by Lord Shiva, Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu, Lord Rama, and these people have no idea of the background of the history. So Sikh Gurus are only 400-500 years old, but Lord Rama, Lord Krishna have inspired humanity for nearly 5,000 years. So therefore, you have to have a little bit of vision and intelligence that we cannot cut our roots from the Sanatan Dharma. We are part of Sanatan Dharma. We are part of India. Guru gave sacrifice for India. Guru Tegh Bahadur was beheaded in Delhi, not in Amritsar, to uphold the religion of Kashmiri Pandit. Guru Gobind Singh created Brotherhood of Khalsa, not from the Sikhs, but from the 5 people from Odisha, from Gujarat, from Karnataka, from UP, and from Punjab, just showing the unity of India. And Brotherhood of Khalsa was not created for Punjab, it was created to uphold the religious freedom of India. Therefore, I'm very saddened that a handful of people are now they have destroyed their own image. They destroyed the image of the community, which is a role model community, serving humanity regardless of race, religion, and now these people have destroyed the relationship between 2 great countries for their activities. And I hope my appeal to the SGP leadership that they will be vocal, they will be inspiring the young generation.
Lord Ranger, but what about Justin Trudeau personally? Because, he seems to have, he seems to be continuing with these allegations, assertions personally. Why is he doing it? Is he doing it for his petty political reasons? Is he doing it, because of Western hypocrisy, as often seen earlier too? What is triggering his personal, actions and diatribes, which are continuous and are now, of course, reaching a point of no return?
Unfortunately, when we do something wrong, very few people accept it, but most people try to justify wrong. So Prime Minister Trudeau tried to score point that he is a champion of freedom, champion of human rights and all that, has really put his foot in it, because now he doesn't know which way to go. So he keeps on creating more complication for himself. He just wants to be, the crusader of freedom, crusader of this. It's not going to work. Temporary popularity will be long-term damage to Canada. So therefore, it is a very short-sighted, activity of Trudeau. His popularity lies in building relationship, not breaking relationship. but it is child's play to break anything. But it takes a statesman, mature politician, and a statesman to build relationship. So I can just say that he is now in a situation he doesn't know which way to go. So rather than trying to, build bridges, try to accept that the India is a rule of law. Judiciary is independent. No politician can do anything wrong because they'll be brought to justice. And no, especially the Prime Minister of today's Prime Minister, who is reaching out to give benefit to every community. Sabka saath, sabka vikas. That is the motto of Prime Minister Modi. He cannot. The way he is treating every minority shows that he wants to carry everybody with him. As India is progressing, we have all to progress at the same time. Keeping any section, any community behind will not help India progress as it is progressing. So therefore, I want everybody to unite behind the government of India. Whatever they're doing is right. And the Prime Minister Trudeau should know that you are a shoestring country with 30 million people. You cannot take the might of over 4 billion people who are now surging ahead. They were ahead in the world before. Their civilization was miles ahead until the invader came and systematically for 1,000 years to try to destroy it. But now we are united. We were not united before. One by one, we fell, but now we are united under Prime Minister Modi. We are a number 4th economy, number 3rd most powerful army. Therefore, and in IT, in science, technology, we have landed on moon, we have landed on Mars. That just shows which direction India is going. And the Sikhs stand to gain a lot more as being a part of India than being like a small country. I don't want to mention any country, every country is good, but a small country cannot now, in a global village, global market, global economy, can surge ahead. Together, we will do a great deal more. India's development is that of Punjab's development and development of Sikhs. They have a lot of opportunity to work. Sikhs are settled in Maharashtra, Gujarat, UP, you name it. They are there. And just to, the Guru gave us a universal religion. It is not to be contained in one corner of India. It is the ideology of gurus have to be spread all over the world. We do not convert anybody. We serve every faith. We treat women as equal. We treat every religion as equal. The very fact the Gurbani, in the Guru Granth Sahib, you have the teaching of every faith, lower class, higher class, to show that the humanity is one. As Guru Gobind Singh says, recognizing humanity as one race. Manas ki jaat sab ek hai pehchan. The people who want to use religion, which was created to unite, to divide humanity, are in fact going against the teaching of our gurus.
All right. Point taken. Lord Ranger, appreciate you joining us with your perspective on this big story. I want to quickly join Professor Madhav Nalapat now, editorial director of the Sunday Guardian. Professor Madhav Nalapat, what do you read between the lines into Justin Trudeau's actions? How do you analyze them and what is prompting them?
First of all, I'd like to agree exactly with what Lord Ranger said, and especially his comments on Prime Minister Modi and the fact that Prime Minister Modi, like almost all Indians, we admire the Sikh community, and they're very different from the K element, which is a completely different element in the control of a country where the Sikhs have been mercilessly treated in the 1940s. I want to say, Uday, that you go through, for example, some US military websites, and you'll find that there's a lot of information there about the Chinese influence in the Canadian system, including, I'm sorry to say, in elements of the police and security forces. I mean, there are responsible Americans, respected Americans.
I'm afraid we've lost Professor Nalapat's connection, it seems. Okay, let me join Adit Kothari now. I believe he's also joined us, founder Indic Society. Adit Kothari, according to you, why is Justin Trudeau doing this?
that Canada may need.
Adit Kothari, please go ahead.
In and out.
Adit, are you there with us?
Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I'm
Please
there.
go ahead.
Can you hear? Okay, so look, I think, when we look at Justin Trudeau, he is a clever man, but he's yet a very short-sighted man at the end of the day. And what he's doing primarily is just serving his personal political interests at the cost of Canada's relationship with India. Let's not forget, his father was no different. When extraditions were requested of him, you will remember that he cited some bizarre Commonwealth law that's saying that, these are citizens of the Commonwealth, and thus, these criminals and these thugs and these, terrorists should not be extradited back to India. So, of course, the apple has not fallen far from the tree. But today, when we look at Canada, it's surreal to say that, Canada has become the new Pakistan. And what makes things worse is that the Indian political leadership is actually treating it far worse than, we would treat Pakistan. Here you have the Canadian Prime Minister, the Foreign Minister, all of them jumping onto the bandwagon of making ludicrous statements and bizarre insinuations without any credible evidences, saying that they are irrefutable evidences. But they are essentially losing credibility, while the Indian Prime Minister, the Foreign Minister, or the Home Minister have not even issued a word on this, entire bizarre episode that has unfolded over the past couple of days. So that actually demonstrates how irrelevant Canada is truly becoming in the global sphere. So are they truly fit to be in a G7? Probably not. I mean, they're lucky to be, the cousin of the Commonwealth and thus be within the G5 domain. But even the the Five Eye partners seem to be losing credibility. I mean, if you look at the statements put out by by New Zealand yesterday, it was a very well calibrated approach. They do not want to isolate the Canadian cousin, but at the same time, they're demonstrating restraint by not calling out India, unlike Canada has gone candidly, destroying all its relationships. And they're saying that, the investigations need to be carried out. Whatever the evidences are, need to be poked, and they need to be basically seen with greater light. And that's what's not happening at this point. Since 2003, I think it is, India's requested 26 extraditions to Canada. And these are criminals, these are thugs, these are terrorists, these are extremists, including Hardeep Nijjar, who is one of them, one of the 26. And of course, Canada has never acknowledged them. So what else is a country like India meant to do in this grand scheme of things, if not call Canada a country which is openly advocating, endorsing, and giving refuge to terrorists and extremists of a different country, of another country, terrorists which have red corner notices issued against them. So the Prime Minister Trudeau basically needs to, do some self-introspection and see whether, this sort of a strategy serves the interest of Canada in the long term. Lord Hardeep Nijjar made a very pertinent point. People of South Asian descent or Indian subcontinental descent who have gone into Western democracies, they need to leave the subcontinental politics behind. Today you are not a Indian Sikh or a Indian Khalistani or whatever, Indian Hindu living in Canada. You are basically a Canadian Sikh or a Canadian Hindu. So you need to live by those ethos. You need to imbibe those principles, and you need to acknowledge the country that you're living in. The moment we start importing the politics of the subcontinent into Western Hemisphere, you are looking at a Lebanon kind of a situation. Exactly what is happening in the streets of London. Lord Ranger, myself, we are all experiencing this on a daily basis when we see our High Commission's being attacked by Khalistanis, our High Commissioner being attacked by Khalistanis. There should be absolutely no space for this. And the onus is also on the Western democracies, the politicians, the policy makers, the diplomats themselves. by ensuring that they do not flout the basic fundamentals of the Vienna Convention. What happened to Vikram Doraiswamy, for example, in Scotland, or what happens with Sanjeev Kumar in Canada, are complete disengagement of the Vienna Convention, because you, as a host country, you are meant to be giving umpteen number of security to the ambassadors of a foreign country, and that is what Canada has not done. And now you've come out basically, painting a target behind their back, calling them a person of interest. So of course India doesn't have a choice. India has to call them back, because their safety should be paramount, which Canada has completely ignored. So yeah, that's where we are.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.